Through majestic forests, alpine valleys and crystal clear lakes, following the trails of wild animals in search of rare birds, in places where no man had set a foot before. Precious, magnificent nature, in all its diversity and grandeur, in the documentary series Kazakhstan's Wildlife Sanctuaries. It's early morning on shore of Lake Alakol. Together with Birdwatchers team, we went to watch birds. Bird watching is a new hobby for Kazakhstani tourists. It helps the city dweller get to know wildlife laws. This cognitive form of rest came to us from England, but for the last 10 years it's been actively developing in Kazakhstan thanks to the Wings of Alakol festival. This year, about 50 tourists from different cities of Kazakhstan and Russia came to watch birds. Initially, the festival was intended in order to increase the tourist season, because as we know, the season on Alakol is mid-July, late August. Even in early September, it is difficult to see tourists, mass tourists. But in addition to beach recreation, you can also watch birds here, especially in spring, because it is a migration period. There is a very large variety of species. It is a migration. Bird watching has its own rules. The main thing is to observe silence, so as not to frighten away the birds. Therefore, we didn't use the drone. After all, the birds have a nesting period. But you can shoot on cameras and watch them through binoculars. There are large birds that catch the eye of beginners at once. These are pelicans. Even a white pelican can be seen here, and you can see a Dalmatian pelican. But of course the main feature of the festival for bird watchers is to see a relict gull. In general, Lake Alakol is associated with a relict gull. Like any other festival, the Wings of Alakol is first of all a place of communication of enthusiastic people. Among the festival guests you can see famous photographers, journalists and of course live scientists. One of them is a professional entomologist, Alexander Zhdanko. He's a scientist and traveler who studied all kinds of butterflies in the world. But Alexander has been keen on birds only for 3 years. He believes that in these places there are unique natural areas. There are 69 species of different birds here, 16 of them are red-listed.
Надо сказать, что Балхаш, Алаколь и китайские озера – это очень древние.
And it should be said that Balkhash, Alakol and the Chinese lakes are the oldest lakes, fragments of once existing Tethys Sea, Tethys Ocean. And therefore here both flora and fauna are very original and rich. The northern fauna comes from the north and the southern one comes from the south. And here ends the wind's rose, which goes from the south to the northeast. Lake Alakol is enclosed by the Jangir and Alatau ranges, and it creates an original climate of this region. In summer it is hot and sunny here, but winter is very harsh. Through the Jangirian Gate from Lake Ebinur, the strongest winds blow. For constancy and hurricane power, they are called Ebi or Yevgey. Lake Alakol is valued for medicinal composition of water. There are a lot of mineral salts in it, almost the whole Mendeleev's table. On the right shore there are recreation areas, but the opposite shore is better for exploration of nature. That shore is very wild. There are many mosquitoes, many reeds and very interesting scents there. They approach straight the Chinese border. There are exotic low mountains where argali live, and very interesting insects. Also, there are mountains surrounded with sands, therefore biological refugia are created, where very rare plants and insects are preserved. So I studied these and found unique insects that turned out to be new species for science. And yet, Lake Alakol is considered an ornithological paradise because here live a quarter of the entire bird fauna of the world. Therefore, the Wings of Alakol festival is dedicated to birds. For the sake of wonderful moments of communication with wildlife, whole families with children come here. And this is one of the important aspects of ecological education. We want people who are not just watching birds, but people who understand nature, who are fond of nature, to come more and more, because this is an educational process. Of course, tourists can only be in the protective area on the lake shore. To get to the territory of the reserve, they need a special permit. The preserved area is a standard natural zone where any human intervention is prohibited, especially during nesting of birds or estrus of animals. Alakol Reserve is a specially protected water ecosystem of Kazakhstan where ancient migration routes of many bird species pass.
Алакольский заповедник был создан постоянное правительство номер 350.
The reserve was created by a government decree to preserve the unique wetlands of the Tintek River and population of the Relict gull that is located on these islands, Ulken, Orta and Kishi on Lake Alakol. This is a territory of the former hunting farm and the former sanctuary Relict gull.
Вот. А это территория бывшего Ковзева промхоза и территория бывшего заказника реликтовая чайка.
Many scientists of the world studied the relict gull. Some scientists considered it a subspecies of the Mediterranean gull. Others considered it a hybrid of the great black-headed gull and of the brown-headed gull. But as an independent species, the bird found its relict status thanks to ornithologist Sredniy Island in 1970.
Заслуга Ернара Озова, сына Мухтара Озова, именно в том, что он определил и доказал.
And the merit of Sredniy Island is that he discovered and proved that this was an isolated species, isolated ecologically, geographically, and it was given the name relict gull. Before that, there was no such name. And after that, they opened a wildlife area, which in 1998, thanks to the efforts of the first director, Tolganbayev Serik Amirhanovich, was transformed into a reserve to continue protecting the relict gull.
Старанием первого директора Толганбаева Серика Амирхановича был создан заповедник, как бы продолжение идеи охраны этой реликтовой чайки.
The relict gull nested in these places even at the time when the ancient sea tethys spread here. It's not so easy to see it. This rare bird arrives in Alakol later than all other conspecifics. And it flies away earlier than others, around the end of June. This year spring came late. In the first decade of May, during our stay at Lake Alakol, the relict gull has not arrived yet. It's unknown whether it appears at all. But Yesen Tursunbayev is sure that it is not by chance that every year it chooses Alakol Islands for its nesting. Alakol Island is located to the north. It can be seen, by the way. That is Kishir Altube Island, rocky and high. Between them, there is a small island of only 23 hectares, Sredniy Island. It is here where nesting takes place. Not only relict gulls nest there. Other bird colonies make nests too. For example, gannets. Last year they were 28,000. There are Dalmatian pelicans, all kinds of gulls, terns, all kinds of terns.
Крачки. Почти все крачки там гнездятся, кроме речной.
Sredniy Island is a natural territory isolated both from man and large carnivores. We can say it's a bird paradise since the very location of the island creates reliable protection against the severe wind of the Jangarian Alakol.
Этот ветер очень, скажем,
Heavy wind causes strong waves on the lake, and this islet perhaps is protected. They are not washed off because it is flat. For example, there is hair lip, where pelicans nest, and it happens that their colony is washed off. It can be washed off in strong wind. Then they lay eggs again.
При сильном ветре может смыть. Тогда делается повторная кладка.
Last year, our expedition visited Sredniy Island and we were lucky to shoot unique images of the Relict gull. We watched the reserve staff keeping count of birds to know how many chicks hatched and how many adult females are hatching chicks. These data are important for ornithological research that has been conducted for several years by scientists of the Kazakhstan Institute of Zoology. In recent years, the number of gulls is stable, within the limits of 27 to 40, that is more or less. These are figures of one graduation up to 100. There were years when they were more. In 1978, a record number of gulls was registered, 1,200 couples. Even then, we couldn't understand what it depended on.
И даже тогда еще не могли понять, от чего же это зависит.
To find out in which ways relict gulls migrate and also how these birds' populations are interconnected in different parts of the world, scientists plan to apply modern research methods. For example, to mark gulls with radio beacons. The history of running of these birds shows that they passed the winter in Indochina. One of the largest populations of the relict gull nests in Alakol Reserve in the southeast Transbaikalia.
Есть такая, скажем, гипотеза.
There is a hypothesis that this, our population, and Alakol Reserve's population are the same. That is, these are two subpopulations that can change their nesting places. Again, the reason why the birds choose them is not quite clear.
Опять же, причины, по каким они выбирают, не совсем понятны.
Intensity of birds gathering on the Sredniy Island is incredibly dense. Small bays and rocky brows are strewn with gannet colonies. And of the gull family, there are lots of young Caspian gulls and great black-headed gulls. On the water and in the air, there is constant fuss and screams. During the nesting period, entrance for strangers is prohibited, because if you drive a bird from its permanent place, it will never return there.
И вот этим может воспользоваться любая другая чайка, там,
And any other gull can use it, even the Caspian gull. It has a highly developed cannibalism effect. At any moment, as soon as the bird is distracted or leaves its nest, the Caspian gull can fly up and peck up eggs and nestlings. And they sometimes peck up even a weak species. How does the relict gull survive? It is saved by nature itself. Gannets and Caspian gulls come first to the island. They nest in open areas almost near the shore. Above them, terns choose places for nesting. Relict gulls arrive last and nest on the very top of the island. According to the observations of ornithologists, proximity of the relict gull's nests to nests of the fearless, aggressive tern ensures security of the general colony. Therefore, to get to it, the Caspian gull has to make its way through a heap of protection or something. Because the tern, the specificity of these species is that the terns toughly protect their nests. They are very active in this matter. The unique nature of Alakol Nature Reserves attracts the international ornithological community. In 2009, the reserve was included in the Ramsar list of wetlands of international importance, and in 4 years into the list of the UNESCO Biosphere territories. In 2010, the reserve was expanded due to the UNDP project. We were added 45,505 hectares in eastern Kazakhstan, significant sections of Lakes Alakol and Minkol wetlands. There are many more secrets that the ornithofauna of this reserve contains. We didn't have enough time to unravel them. There are many more unique natural places in Kazakhstan where no one had ever been, and we are off to our next expedition.